Okay, welcome, welcome. I'm Jem Cunnings, if you haven't been with me before. And tonight we're going to be talking about self love alchemy, and we're going to be tapping into the energy of spring to do a really as deep as we can go energetic clearing. As you know, I'm sure you do, that spring is an optimal time to purge, to renew. It's about growth. It's about, coming, digging ourselves out of winter, spring cleaning the home and letting go of baggage within ourselves, right? So I'm sure you guys have all had experiences where you had like that spring cleaning and you went into your closets in your garage and then after you were done, you felt so much lighter. Like, can everyone relate to that? So we're going to do that energetically with our bodies and our energy fields. And I recommend to do that in your homes as well, right? Because we are always engaging in our environment. So it's really helpful to see the reflection of what's going on in your world as a reflection of what's happening within. So that's number one. We got three things we're doing tonight. We're going to do that big clearing. And really what the clearing is, how I kind of see everything now is everything that's heavy is a barrier between us and ourselves and the love that we are. Like that simple. And my super most favorite quote, and let me pull it up because I tend to butcher it, and I'm gonna read it verbatim. My favorite quote. It's been on my email for years, and it encapsulates like my mission, like the mission I've been given at this particular time in my life is for me to look at all the places within myself that need love. And the other part of my mission is to help others, you, do the same. So Rumi wrote, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself you have built against it. And I would add a caveat to that. Sorry, Rumi. All the place, so we're not just seeking and finding, we're seeking, finding, and releasing all the barriers we've built to love. And another way you could say that or receive that is we're releasing all the barriers that we've built within ourselves. Because ultimately a self-love journey is coming back to wholeness, because that's our true nature. So sometimes we think of self-love as maybe selfish, right? Anyone had that sense? We can, this message came in super strong. I was doing some channel writing, and it was like, you know how sometimes like you feel like your guides or like, the angels are kind of wagging their finger at you and like they're very firm. And the message was, it is your job. It is your job to be in a state of self-love, because when you are in that space, you have the greatest capacity to be of service, right? Because if we're in survival, we're in lack, we're in a space where we're not really feeling it, right? We got to take care of ourselves before we can help others. And I know, probably all of you are empaths because that's just who I bring in. And so, because I'm one, of course. And so, what I know about my empath team and I know about me is we have a tendency, sorry, I'm going to let someone in here. We have a tendency to put ourselves on the back burner, right? That's not a self loving act. So, we're going to talk about that tonight, right? And then we're going to go into the energy. And then we're going to together, this is why you have your journals, we're going to create like a self care, self love roadmap for you to begin to implement practices that are going to assist you in aligning with more self love. Because here's the deal, we got to do it at the real deep levels because we've held significant trauma, pain, suffering, past, density, trapped emotions in our bodies, deep, 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 deep in our DNA. Okay. We all have it because we're human and we've existed in many, many times where we still hold that and we carry it with us. But guess what? Right? The planet is shifting and elevating in frequency. So we, as the planet gets lighter and lighter, we have an opportunity to get lighter and lighter and lighter, right? And again, back to wholeness, back to love, right? So back to the Rumi quote, where we're looking and clearing all the barriers so we can return to wholeness. And self-love is a way to say it and articulate it, but really it's about our ascension journey, right? It's returning to our divine state. Some call it unity consciousness, some call it Christ consciousness, right? Like Jesus taught about love thy neighbor, but he also taught about self-love, right? So this is the premise, this is the platform, and this is what we're here to do. All in the next hour and a half. No, I'm just kidding. So get ready. No. So, but what tonight really is about is to assist you to, begin these steps, right? Creating the roadmap, getting into some of the deep energetic cleansing, utilizing the energy of spring to assist in the momentum forward. And I'm going to talk about my Self-Love Alchemy Academy, which is starting April 4th. So that'll be at the end. I do have some bonuses to share with you around that, but we will do the energy first. So if you feel like hopping off, that's okay too. This is going to be about you getting an experience of, like a little a sample of what the my Self-Love Alchemy is going to be about. It's a 7-week long program. A couple of you have taken Self-Love Alchemy before, and I realize I haven't communicated this. 90% new material. Side note. Because I was realizing, like, Darlene, I was talking to Darlene, who's my partner in retreats, and she's like, and I said, oh, because she signed up, and anyway, I said, and she's like, well, I took it before. I was like, oh no, like it's all new. So, side note for some of you, I realized I'm like, I probably should have communicated that more effectively. Okay. So those are our 3 things. We're going to lighten our load. We're going to create the roadmap, and we're going to talk about the academy. And then answer some questions. And if y'all need any individual support and we have time to do that, we will do that. So I thought there was a way to do a poll on here. So I know not all of you have your cameras on right now, but those of you who do have your cameras on, I have slides, like actual slides. But I kind of got the hit. I don't know if they need to show up tonight. So what I thought I would do is take a vote. So for those of you on your camera, and it doesn't matter either way because it'll be perfect. So is anybody like, oh, I like slides. Like I really like slides. So does anybody who, I'll tell you what, yeah. So yes, if you want slides, raise your hand. Okay, good. Nobody wants slides. Okay. That's what I was feeling. If you guys want, they're just high level, like I'll send them to you, but they are pretty. Okay. I'm going to be drinking lots of water. So, I'll tell you, I know some of you who've worked with me and some of you are new. So I'm going to just kind of talk high level about why I'm talking about self-love and like, who am I to even do that? Because I'm on the journey of self-love, right? Like I'm not coming to you from a place of like, like upper, like, oh, I've been there, done that. Now I can teach it, right? I am still evolving. We all are still evolving. But what is under my belt is I've worked with thousands. I've had thousands of energy healing sessions for over the past 10 years. And what I have seen over and over and over again as a reflection of myself and my clients is we hold a lot of density in our body, right? Back to we have these places of separation. What does that look like? It looks like self-doubt. It looks like we're talking to ourselves in a negative way, right? It's judging ourselves, judging others. It's blaming other people and not taking responsibility in our life. I took notes because I had a couple other ones I wanted to share. A lot of fear, right? And we can see this fear paradigm play out in the world. We can turn on the news, lickety split, and here we are, right? Big old plate full of fear. And it's so pervasive and it's been around so long in the collective, and it still perpetuates that it can go in and start triggering us, right? It'll turn on the part in our DNA that we're still holding density. Okay. That's why it's so important to have the ability to shift things mentally, cognitively, energetically, and at the deepest levels. We got to hit all these layers, right? So when I talk about doing a self-love roadmap, that's a little bit more up here, how we're going to put it into practice, but we got to go deeper. There is, we have wounded inner child, right? We have shadows. We have past lives where we're still holding these energies in our bodies, and it's so pervasive, okay? The good news is, not to sound all doom and gloom, the good news is we really are energetically supported to do this work at deeper levels than we ever have before, right? I got chills as I'm saying that, right? The conditions are ripe for us to clear this, and we don't have to know. The cool thing is we don't have to know, like, oh, back in, the 1400s when I was, burned at the stake, like, we might have awareness, like we might have memories and things come in from other lifetimes, and that's wonderful, but it's not necessary. We can start really purging deep. Okay. A lot a lot of womb clearing is coming up right now, and even if you're in a male body, you still hold in that sacral region a lot. And guess what I just got in the mail today? So this energy is sitting with us, called the Womb Awakening. Oh my goodness, look at the size of this thing. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be big. So, but we hold a lot of trauma down in our sacral area. We have a lot of trapped emotional energy. We have shame, we have oppression, we have victimization, right? And so there's just really, really deep layers in here, guys. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. Like if you feel anything in your body now as I'm talking, or even in the day, I see Kate's kind of moving around here, like, or if you feel anything, in the days that follow, don't judge any pain or don't judge any sensations that your body might be experiencing. That's the communication that your body is offering you as an opportunity for you to commune with it, to release it. Okay. Because the energy that we clear tonight, that we're going in there, it's going to take time to cycle. Okay. So, like, for instance, I've been doing a lot of womb work, and yesterday I was like wiped out. I had to, like, I couldn't even get on my laptop. I'm laying down and I feel like just this ache in my lower belly, and it was like all day. And then last week, I never get headaches, and I had a headache for like 10 hours. And one of my teacher mentors had actually emailed, because she was doing some energy work with us, saying like, oh, you might have a headache. And I'm like, yes, I do. And so I'm communicating this because our bodies are not just flesh and bone. Our bodies are intelligent. Our body, our bodies have our bodies have just love for us. There's a purity of consciousness that our bodies hold. And so if we're willing to meet our body, even if it's uncomfortable, right, that the body is communicating to us through sensation. And if we're willing to listen and we're willing to receive, and I'm going to walk you guys through some of that tonight, there's beautiful opportunities for us to release, right? So just honoring the body, having sacred reverence for our bodies, because oh man, our bodies have been holding on to a lot for a long time. And it's pretty amazing. So back to when we're in a space of separation or we're not in a space of love, we talked about the fear. If we're living in a space of fear, which again is so pervasive in our planet and our collective right now, we don't trust that we're safe, right? We don't, and if we don't trust outside, we don't trust inside. And there's another level of division there. Okay. So unworthiness, fear, these are some of the kind of the big ones. Even anger, a lot of the emotional experiences that we have just give us a signal, just as I talked about with the body. Our emotions are also another signal for us to be aware of where we're in a space of separation. But what do we do with things that are uncomfortable physically or emotionally, right? Our tendency as a culture is to avoid, distract, repress, 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 suppress, right? Stuff it down, you know? My husband, he jokes about it because he does it, but he's like, hey, it's in there. I don't have to deal with it. I could just shove it back down in there if it tries to come up. I'm like, yeah, we'll see where that gets you in the long term, buddy, right? Because the if we're holding these really dense energies in the body, and the body is starting to signal us and we're not paying attention, guess what? It gets louder, right? And louder and louder, right? And then it can begin to manifest more into physical, right? So we want to be in a space of awareness to really pay attention to what those communications are. Okay. So part of the experience, so as I'm like committing to self-love, which, has kind of been my healing journey for a long time, but like I had like a real kind of honed in focus on it this year. um what also came through, because I started to do some channeled writing, is like, okay, like, what do I do with this for myself and others as I'm teaching this? And what came through in meditation was what I call the 7 pillars of self-love. And that could also be equated to, see, here's where the slide might come in handy, but that's okay. I'll send it to y'all after. um, we could call the 7 pillars of self-love, or the 7 pathways to identify where we're out of love. Okay, so I'm going to run through those really quick, but what we're going to do is we're going to go through these 7 pillars and our energetic spring cleaning. And this is going to be the way in which you might have some greater heightened awareness of what is in the way for you. Okay. So pillar number 1 is connection. And that has to do with our crown chakra, and it has to do with the connection to God, universe, higher self, whatever your language is. We'll call it a higher power for our conversation today. So if we don't feel that connection, we feel cut off, we feel unsupported, we feel alone, there's struggle, right? This is survival, because, like, well, how could I trust that I'm safe when I'm here in this body and I feel disconnected and I feel separated? Okay. There's what I have seen in every single body of all the bodies I've worked with, that I call the core wound of separation, meaning just being in a human body and having, an amnesia of our connected to the whole creates a wound. So pillar number 1 is connection, so that we can really remember to reestablish or even strengthen where we feel we're one with the universe, where we're receiving divine support. And the way I've been kind of seeing it, feeling it lately, is like there's just this river of divine love flowing in all the time. And I got to just step in that river. I just got to step right in. And so, but sometimes, we have all this happening. We got, we feel alone. It's got to be hard. And this bad thing happened in my life, and this challenging situation happened, et cetera, et cetera. And then, then we feel that cut off. Okay. So we're going to go through and clear this. Next is the third eye, having to do with perception. And perception has to do with our ability to have intuitive awareness, back to that connection, but also to be aware of how we're communicating with ourselves. Like, what are the thoughts that are going on? We all have negative thoughts, right? We all do. The trick is to catch it when it happens, and begin to clear it at the deeper level, and then begin to rewrite the script as it's happening. The other thing with perception is to be aware that the world is a mirror. So back to, we talked about blaming. So if somebody did this to me, and somebody did this to me, and this happened to me, and this horrible thing happened to me, and I'm not willing to take responsibility because I'm only perceiving it through myself as like the eyes of a victim, I've robbed myself from the opportunity to shift. Okay, so perception is about really having super clear awareness of what we're creating, and not from a space of self-blame or self-judgment, right? Just from a space of like, oh, there maybe needs to be a redirect here. I believe that everything that comes into our lives is like bringing us back to love, bringing us back to love, bringing us back to love, if we allow it, if we're willing to receive it, right? But you can see if we're in blame or we're in, projecting it out to other people, how we're not going to be able to receive from that. Next is the throat, having to do with authenticity, authentic expression, authentic truth. Now, my empaths, us as empaths, often have really compromised our truth because we were afraid of rocking the boat. We're people pleasers. We want to ensure that the people around us are safe and happy. And if they're safe and happy, we can be safe and happy, right? There's a lot of attachment to our self-worth when we're making sure everyone else is okay, right? And we also preserve safety when we're making sure everybody else is okay. But what that does is it creates all these blocks here because we're not truly being true to ourselves. We're not truly honoring the love that we are. Okay, can you get a sense of that? So the throat is about the truest authentic expression of you, right? If we were totally fearless, right? Like just kind of feel into this for a moment. If we were totally fearless and we had total freedom, how might we express ourselves a little differently? What else might we say, do, right? Change if we didn't give two shits about what people think about us. Okay. So there's opportunity for greater authenticity. And again, like awareness, we are the things that I'm pointing out to you with these 7 pillars are not for you to like go into any kind of self-judgment. This is truly just awareness. So we can return back to love. We can clear these barriers and return to more wholeness. Okay. Heart, of course, is compassion. So I call that pillar compassion. And really that compassion, like self-love, starts with compassion for self, right? You do something that you feel guilty about, or you do something that you regret, and then you start beating yourself up, right? Compassion for all of it, all of it. And the greater compassion we can hold for ourselves, the greater compassion we can hold for others. Okay. This is the key, right? The center of the heart. This is the key. Compassion, kindness, self-love. Courage is our next one because it does require courage and bravery to be our authentic selves. It does require courage to actually exist in self-love, right? Below courage is allowance. It took me a minute. Because back to what we talked about with the trapped energies, suppressing, repressing, keeping things stuffed in there is because we haven't allowed ourselves to really feel, right? It requires courage to allow ourselves to feel the intensity of the emotions that are being held in our bodies. But with allowance comes that freedom to let them go, right? We got to allow ourselves to feel, to heal, right? And that which we resist persists. So I'm throwing the cliches out because they're true, right? If we're resisting our feelings, if we're resisting what's being, communicated through our bodies, it just stays in there. It just stays stuck, right? The other cool thing, like I talked about earlier, is the opportunity for us to clear this we're so supported. It really is happening organically. And the greater allowance that we can have, because what's happening, it my little robot thing's talking to me. That just totally distracted me, and I had a really good thought. It'll come back. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So, like the things that are out of alignment in our lives are starting to really show up with like in greater clarity. Like 2 things happened to me this week where like I didn't have the awareness on the front end, but the universe is like, this is out of alignment, so we're going to just take it away. Or we're going to show you this problem or this situation, which is great. But had maybe I really listened and maybe kind of sat with some inklings that I was feeling, I might have had more awareness on the front end to where like the rug wasn't kind of pulled out, right? So and again, no judgment, because it's all the journey where we're increasing our awareness, we're increasing our perception of what needs, shifting and attention within us. And then lastly is presence in the root chakra, because of the intensity, because of the trauma we've held in our bodies, because we've been separated from, our wholeness. A lot of us are outside of our bodies, right? We're disconnected, we're scattered, and of course we live in a world that perpetuates busyness, right? Our culture rewards distraction, all these like dopamine hits, right, on the phone, and we're rewarded with it. We're rewarded with, all the different things on our phones and our computers, and all this external stimulus can pull us out. So just being present, being connected to your body is just, we can't do this work if we're not connected. Okay, I'm sure like a lot of you who've done energy work before, and we always start off with grounding, right? Getting really present and grounded with the breath. We start that way for a reason, right? Because if we're up here, right, we're limited in terms of how deep we can go. So those are the 7 pillars of self-love. And that's what we're going to be clearing in the energy. So I think we're going to go ahead and get into the energy. And I'm already feeling it because I'm like so super thirsty. So every time I clear energy, I get really, really thirsty. So I'm going to take some water. I recommend you guys do that too, and get yourself situated, comfortable. Again, you can lay down, you can, whatever's going to be most supportive for you to receive. I'll give you guys a little bit to get settled. Okay. While you're getting settled, I wanted to share something one of my teachers shared with me. Her name is Grace, and she teaches about the feminine Christ. And as I mentioned earlier, the term Christ consciousness can be equated to like unity consciousness, divine consciousness. It's that awakening within us of our divinity. And she said there are 3 prerequisites to Christ consciousness. Number 1, an allegiance to love, an allegiance to self-love. Number 2, the balance and the union of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And we can talk a little bit about that after the energy. The number 3, the purification of all past lives, meaning the cellular imprints of trauma that we hold in our cells and our DNA, like we've been talking about, right? That fear of separation, the events that were so significant in our other lifetimes that we're still carrying that energy in our DNA. So what we're doing today in the spring cleaning is we're looking to clear this at the deepest DNA level. Yeah, Anna is asking about Grace. I will share that. I honestly, she's, I can't even describe the most amazing teacher I've ever come across. And I've worked with many healers, teachers, very powerful people over my past 20 years in energy healing, trainings. I mean, you name it, I've explored it. And yeah. So, okay. So hopefully by now you're comfortable. And we're just going to let go of the conversation. And just begin to find yourself deepening your breath with the intention to settle and connect fully into your body now. As you breathe in, begin to bring your awareness to the bottom half of your body. If you're sitting up, feel your feet firmly planted on the ground, even imagining that beneath your feet, you're standing on the earth. and some grass, maybe some sand. And we're going to use our breath combined with our intention to be fully connected to our bodies. And we ask with intention, as I vocalize this for you, to now call back, to now reconnect with all aspects of your being, your consciousness, your divine soul, asking all of your energy to return to you, reclaiming wholeness, calling in your power, calling in all aspects of your being, from past, from present, from future, to be here now. Feel yourself fill with the energy of you. And we also ask, we command that any and all energy that we're holding on to that belongs to someone else just naturally begins to release and flow out your feet. Mother Earth pulling other people's energy out of your body, detaching, releasing. Okay. And you could say to yourself, just to affirm, if you want to say this out loud, I am grounded, I am centered, and I am connected to all that I am. All that I am. And now we invoke whatever personal guides, teachers, family of light that resonate. Call in your team of light now. I invoke our guides, our master teachers, ascended masters. We invoke and call in the angelic realm, star family. We invoke and call in the divine mothers, the divine fathers, and any of your personal connections. Mother Mary, Jesus, Mary Magdalene, Kuan Yin, calling in all of our team of support, our ancestors, all those of the light who are here to support us, calling them in and receiving them now. We now open up the area of connection, our crown chakra. We open and expand, remembering our divine connection to all that is, opening and connecting to pure source creator, deepening our connection through our divine I am presence, and receiving that beautiful divine river of love that we talked about, stepping into that river and beginning to allow it to just gently flow into your body through that opening that is expanding and clearing and harmonizing now at the top of your head. I'm going to bring in a little light language to assist in this opening. And as I do, if you haven't heard this before, the sounds just support energetic shifting. So for you, just breathe and receive as we invite in more of this divine river of love flowing in. It is safe for you to remember all that you are. It is safe for you to remember your infinite self. It is safe for you to trust and receive the divine love from pure source. And this beautiful river of love begins to flow in, and it like flushes. It moves through your cells and your DNA at that deepest level. You may be feeling parts of your body now that have sensation. And if that is the case for you, we can direct that energy to that specific location in your body. Like I'm, for instance, feeling a lot of your heart spaces. So we're going to come back to the third eye and throat because I'm really being called to the heart now to allow your heart to open, receiving that divine flow, pure love, love beyond comprehension, love beyond feeling, just allowing the frequency to flow into your heart. It might start to move around like a vortex. Maybe it swirls. Maybe it floats back and forth like infinity. Feel that in your heart space now, and we ask our hearts to open and for this energy to go deep into the wounds, into the cracks, into the places of trauma and suffering at the deepest level, into our cells and into our DNA, allowing that pure love to just transmute anything that we've been holding. This life, all lives, all dimensions, all times, all realities, now receiving this blessing of divine love. Allow that beautiful team that you called in to hold you. Lean back. Rest in the embrace of those who are here to support you and love you. You are not alone. And it's like this energy is like really like saturating deep. So open your heart even more. Allow it to go deep, 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 deep. E tolo korliata no kolaketa to parashuku de ki kana moku sakia. Ito to hiata na hiata. This is actually a different light language, so I don't know what energy this is, but it feels good. So we're just going to keep allowing it into the heart, letting it soak in, clearing. And this is where we're willing to receive this at that deepest level, deepest level. At your in your next breaths, take big breaths into your heart now, filling your heart with light and then expanding. We're going to make some space in our heart right now. We're going to breathe into our hearts and then we're going to expand, allow more of this divine love energy to flow into your heart. And this is like within your body and beyond your body now. Eto la kare esho korosotoro korepepeda marashi kitrikia. Eto leatana yasheketana koroshakoro shikru masakaturu korokietana morosutuki. So just keep breathing into the heart and letting it expand. And we're going to move up to the third eye. So here's where we're clearing any filters, any cloudiness to perfect perception, perfect awareness, right? Again, acknowledging that your environment, your world around you is a crystal clear mirror of your inner environment. So we're clearing this energy for you to be willing to receive this fully as a place of empowerment, right? For you to feel empowered to know that what is happening is communication of what's happening inside you. So being willing to receive that now, that crystal clear clarity as we activate pineal gland and we turn on the energy back to original divine blueprint. Ikoto pahno talakna eto tane e ito toro satana de isekikikioro shu masakikia. Ito tu parashiketo masikia. So anywhere that we have wanted to close our vision, shut down our vision, or pretend not to see, because maybe it was too much, too overwhelming, clearing the trauma from that. Ito para sheke toto kora kita da kuna para suku para kita da por ito makiata. Ito para kiato koroko. And moving into authenticity, where we are aligned with the divinity within us, where the divine pure soul that we are desires to express itself through you. Clearing all filters, clearing anywhere we had to keep parts of us hidden away because it wasn't safe. Allowing this divine flow of energy to clear out any of that energy where we had to shut down. It wasn't safe to speak. It wasn't safe to express. And then again, there's a lot of correlation, connection between the heart and these areas that we're working on. So it's like every time we had to shut down, or every time we experience something, it hits the heart as well, right? So we've had betrayal, we've had places where we had to rejected ourselves, or we were rejected by others. So it all is like centralized in the heart. So we're going to keep clearing the heart a little bit more before we go down into courage, because this is our biggest area right now. And this is where the majority of our pain has been held, as far as this group goes in this moment. So here, being willing, and even saying out loud to yourself, I am willing to release the deepest depths of pain I have held in my heart, and I am willing to receive love in my heart now. I'm willing to receive the love that I am, and holding this beautiful divine compassion for yourself, for all that you've been through. Etala nyasheta nahare eshakato osha korishana mokurushikira sukurukia tanayeto do korkabashikia. Eto mono otata korikia kuna kisukuru sunumorusutura barashiki to kurukuaya kidebarasha korkwa. So if any awarenesses have surfaced for you, especially in the heart space, just take a mental note for yourself to, when we complete the clearing, for you to write them down. I feel like there's going to, you guys will have some just greater awareness of what this is for you specifically. Okay. And then we're going to move down into courage. We're going to bring in the element of fire here. Igniting courage, reigniting your pure power, dissolving the misperceptions of power, meaning where power was abused, where power was oppressive, or where you felt repressed, and any of your attachments about power. We're going to clear that. I am willing to return to the pure power that I am, the pure love that I am. So we're just going to let the fire just continue to burn, and it'll dissolve. We're asking the fire to dissolve those deepest layers where we felt powerless. And as it dissolves, it continues to ignite. And down into that sacral area where we bring in water, because we're bringing in allowance. We ask the divine sacred waters to flow with that beautiful divine river of love we're bringing in. And we're asking the beautiful sacred crystalline waters to flow through every place in your body, in your cells, in your DNA, and all of your being in your energy field. These divine sacred waters carrying the codes of your original divine blueprint, right? Before the trauma, before we descended energetically, asking the crystalline waters to carry that information, restoring you back to original love, divine pure love. Atala barasha kono marasto to barikite de beresha kine marasto to ore pepa de marasha korokana yasa katadaka no korokapa ariketa de marasha korokukia. These are like beautiful diamond sparkling waves. And they're turning on and unlocking some dormant DNA that contains the information that is you, right? Your divinity unlocked, the Christed light energy unlocking in your DNA. So just allow that water to continue to flow in. And then we move down to the root where we activate the energy of presence, where we activate the energy of full embodiment, where we activate and allow and deepen our connection to Mother Earth as one. Us in these bodies, us communing with Mother Earth and having that pure reflection of our body and her body. And now through your root and your feet, we're going to invite pure Mother Earth to flow up into our bodies, meeting and flowing and combining with that divine energy flowing from pure source. So we ask, we command that these energies continue to run, continue to activate, and continue to clear and release, and whatever is in highest alignment with you and your divinity, and whatever is required for you in the hours and the days that follow for you to connect, to listen, to commune with your body, and inviting these energies to continue. When you go to bed at night, when you wake up in the morning, take a few breaths, feel these coming through, invite the water, invite your team back in to continue these cleansings at the deepest level. And lastly, we invite in all of the beautiful blossoming, emerging energy of spring, the lightness of spring to flow in to support us in our awakening, right? In our renewal, in our resurrection of our divinity, in the resurrection of the love that we are. And willing to receive from all, receiving from nature, receiving from your team, receiving from humanity, receiving from the world, opening up for you to allow the receiving to return you to love and to clear everything in the way of that. So finally, we'll take a few more deep breaths and bring our awareness back again to our bodies, feeling your body, feeling the edges of your body, honoring your body, and just continuing that open invitation for these energies to continue to flow, especially in the heart area. And then just taking your time, bringing your awareness back, Letting your eyes open, drinking some water. And if you want to turn your camera back on to let me know that you're here again. Thanks for receiving. And before we go into more conversation, does anybody have any awarenesses they want to share or any questions about that experience? Did you guys feel that energy in the heart starting to clear? There was a lot of heart clearing. Okay, good. Let's see some yeses. Yeah, and if you want to put in the chat just anything, any awarenesses, and if you want to take a moment now and write down anything that came through. I will be sending the recording out, so you can just fast forward and listen to that again, and it'll just keep deeper. Light language is multi-layered, multi-dimensional, so it'll just keep excuse me, it's me clearing energy. It'll continue to support you in that. It would be lovely if you could go out into nature and listen to it. That would be really nice. Kate said, wow, awesome. Yeah. There was a lot moving. So again, just allowing yourselves to keep that open invitation for it to continue to flow, especially in the heart. And then again, you can, re-listen to deepen. And it says, I was aware of how exhausted my body is, felt the energy lift in my heart and sacral. Beautiful. Good. Yeah, we carry so much. We really, really do. And, I think sometimes when we embark on a spiritual journey, there can be that tendency to start, spiritual bypassing, and we will get there, right? We will get to this space where we can really exist um, in that higher dimensional realm all the time. But we can see, right? We can just look outside or turn on the news and see where we're not there. And we are one, and we exist in this world, right? What's happening out there is not separate from what is happening in here, right? So this is where it's so super important. Remember, we talked about the perception, to see, like, okay, what is going on within me that this outside world is showing me, right? And then the self-love work is about you, right? This is why self-love is so important, because it gives us the platform and the opportunity to do our inner work, right? Anytime we're out here with our finger saying them, turn it around, me. I see meditation. Yes. Okay, good. All right. Hopefully we've driven that point home. Went out and woke up after, feel relaxed. Something in the heart. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And it's okay to go out. Like, if any of you fell asleep during that, like, know that the energy still was moving, and you can listen again to have more awareness. Stacey, feeling a lot in the throat, neck, working a lot with speaking truth. Yes. Being hushed. Yes. And if you think about that, we were all children at some point, and somebody told us to be quiet. I tell my kid to be quiet. He just came in here trying to ask me a question. I'm like, I'm busy right now. Because I also told him 5 times to please, let mom have an hour and a half uninterrupted, but it's just not possible. So for those of you with kids, you understand. Okay. So I want to share, oh, you know what? One more thing I did a little channeled writing. It's not very long, but I'm just gonna read it. I felt like it came in today, so I think it's for you guys. So I'm gonna read this. Coming back to the river of love over and over was such a relief. Yes. And thanks for bringing that up, Kate, because we get pulled out all the time, right? So if we have something that's kind of like an anchor, like however you receive that or visualize it, like when we get pulled out, oh, I'm feeling alone, oh, I'm feeling separate, oh, I'm feeling fearful, oh, I'm judging myself. Oh, well, let me just step in the river of love for a moment, you know? Like when I take a shower in the morning, I ask that the water be sacred divine water and flow through me like the river of love. And I connect with Mother Earth in the shower every morning, and I get my bare feet on the earth every morning. Connect to the sun every day, ask to receive the divine codes from the sun. I don't know if this is going to show up. Let me see. Can y'all see that? That's the sun. Can you guys see how much color came through in the pink? And the very same, like 2 seconds later, I was talking to the sun, just mind you. It changed. I didn't do anything different to my camera. See how like there's kind of more like wings on this one versus the circle? I didn't do anything different to my camera. So the sun has energy for us to receive, and we can just commune and ask, okay? Like think about it as like light codes. And I'm sure you guys have seen other people posting pictures. I mean, it's just extraordinary, like what the sun is presenting in cameras. Okay, so I'm going to read this really quick, and then I'm going to begin sharing with you guys about energy alchemy, and then we'll create a roadmap of some things that you guys can do to begin to incorporate on a daily basis self-love. Okay. Did everybody get the download of the guidebook and the 7 series? Did anybody not? Okay. I'll post that in the chat before we wrap up. But what I was saying, I think you might have come on a little later, is that when I was really in this commitment to self-love for myself, and I taught self-love alchemy last year, but as I mentioned earlier, it's 90% different, 90% new material. I'm bringing in some of the light language tracks from last year, but that's really about it. But what came through in addition is these 7 pillars of self-love. And then I did a light language track for each pillar. So when you sign up and you get the guidebook, there's some journal questions and there's more information about each of those 7 pillars. And then each day you'll get an audio recording with a light language transmission to assist in balancing each pillar. So I'll post that in the chat. And then again, you can listen to those light language tracks again, just to kind of keep clearing. Okay, so I'm going to read this. This kind of felt like a Mother Mary energy, just side note. I started to feel a little energy when I was like, ooh. So the energy, or the message said, this is a time of reckoning. And I'm like, reckoning? That sounds kind of ominous. A reckoning with yourself. A time of forgiveness and renewal of all that you are. To reconnect and remember your brilliance and your magic. To awaken to your truth and receive the wisdom of your soul. It is time to awaken creation and give birth to what feels good, what brings you joy, and what brings you fulfillment. The pain of the past is available to release. You must accept that it does not serve you to keep this. It is not needed as a reminder or as protection. The true freedom of your being is available to you now. Claim your birthright. Claim your freedom. Claim your true loving nature. Reset the world. Ooh, my womb just turned on right now. So I wanted to share that. Maybe I'll type it up and send it to you guys when I send the recording. So that was the message that came through. And we talked earlier about why what self-love or lack of self-love looks like, right? Fear, worry, negative self-talk. what does it look like when we are in a space of self-love? Like that's what we also want to tap into, because we can spend, so much time clearing, and yes, that needs to happen. And we need to embody and express and practice and be and receive love for ourselves, right? With that compassion, with that loving self. Yeah, I'll type it up. Thank you, Kate. Yeah. Um, one of the words that came in was like, when we're in a space of self-love, is we're generous, right? Because our cup overfloweth. So again, like back to the message I shared earlier, when we're in a state of self-love, like we can be of greatest service, right? It is actually easier to be of service when our cup is full, right? But empaths, right, tend to try to do all that and put and we wonder why we're tired and put ourselves on the back burner. It's about freedom, right? It's about wholeness, right? It really is about the embodiment of who you truly are. When we are in a space of self-love, like it's a frequency, right? And so that's what we are asking to receive more, stepping into that divine river so that we can remember, we can expand, right? So back to the what I read in the beginning, the three prerequisites to Christ consciousness. Number one, allegiance to love, allegiance to self-love, right? You are that important. You are that worthy. So I'm just going to share with you guys a little bit about the program, and then we're going to take some time to create that roadmap, and I'll leave some time for Q&A. So let me go ahead and I am going to share screen. There's one of my slides. There's the Rumi quote. Okay, can y'all see that? Okay. Mm-hmm. I have to look over here. So again, like everything I've talked about today is like I've put in this program, and it is completely like the culmination of all my experience as an energy healer, what I've learned in my classes and my training, and those thousands of sessions. And so like I realized, because I did a course last year called Energy Alchemy Academy, and I taught all these different courses. And what I realized is this is the most important one. This is the one that is needed. This is what the world needs right now. I'm going to tell you guys, I haven't really spoken about this publicly, and I probably won't, but I'm going to tell you guys, since we're kind of in this intimate group, I was working with a business coach, and one of the reasons was like to get support and how to structure my business. And so she was valuing my course at $1,700, and I was like, oh no, that's a lot of money. And I was like, so I never really felt aligned with it. And what happened was I gave my power away, and I charged that amount initially because she was like, you told me you wanted the support, and let's just do this. But then I was like, well then, and then so then she did something that was really out of integrity, and we had to split ways. So what happened was like, I wasn't listening to myself. I wasn't acting in a space of self-love, because I was, I'd hired her, but even if we're getting support from other people, we still have to trust ourselves. We still have to listen. Mm-hmm. So with everything going on in the world today, with the state of war, I mean, there's war happening, like, and people are concerned. And so I sat with myself, and so I took the price from 1777 to 444. It is, to me, like, if I teach this again, I probably won't offer it that low again, because it is 7 weeks of a lot of robust material. You guys have access to it. And I am going to offer a little even more incentive for those of you who are on the call tonight, but I'm just telling you right now, it's a good deal. So I'm not going to go through this whole website, but what I want to show you, and I'll put the link to the website in here. This is really about how to clear our patterns, like we did today, clear our patterns of disempowerment, trauma, judgmental thinking, how we can implement practices and connecting to higher self, like we talked about with the connection. Um, and I'll let you guys read that. I'm not going to go. But what I did want to show you is this. So essentially, we would be meeting every week for 7 weeks. So there's a live interactive Zoom, probably around like 2 hours. And then everything will be recorded and housed in an online learning center called Kajabi. And so there's light language tracks, there's meditations, there's videos with content. I know a lot of people don't love like self-paced things. So, like if you just want to show up for the lives every week, you can do that too. Um, I'm actually probably only going to have two guest speakers versus three or four. Some things kind of shifted. I have a woman coming on named Lindsay Martin Ellis who does like embodiment. Um,
Mm,
and I mean, yeah, she's really, really good. I'm like,
cool.
which is, we all need that. So you'll have access to the online learning platform for, however long I keep Kajabi for years. And if you happen to not be able to make any of the lives, then we will be doing that. I'll be putting all the recordings in there. So like my commitment to you in this course is to support you on your journey of self-love in all the ways, energetically, emotionally, mentally, where we can be held in the container. I will also be doing energy work on the group to continue clear, 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 clear. So this will be
Mhm.
held in this container of frequency for 7 weeks. And I promise you, you will not be the same after we're done. Um, so each module is going to be based on the 7 pillars that we talked about, but they're going to go a lot deeper than what we're even seeing here. So like we'll be doing inner child work, we'll be doing shadow work. We're essentially going to be looking at all the places that we have disconnected or separated from ourselves, right? We
Mhm.
and the goal is to return to wholeness, right? In that loving way. I have a couple of bonuses. There's my sweet girls testimonials. Here's the dates. Every Tuesday night at 6:30 p.m. Central, 7:30 p.m. Eastern are the dates of the Zooms. And if you, everybody who signs up will be gifted a 30-minute healing session. So you can have real specific, intuitive information from me on where we identify the blocks to self-love. I'll also be recording light language for you in an audio so that you can have something that is specifically personalized to you. And everybody will get access to the Abundance Blessings with Light Language series. It's an audio series that you get through SoundCloud. And so there's 8 tracks on that. So I am offering that at 444, and I'm for everyone who's here tonight, I'm going to send you guys a coupon code for another $44 off. And then I have a payment plan as well. And if it's something that you really feel called to do, you can also go here to the website and book a call with me, and we can just talk to see if it really is a good fit. Like I'm looking for people who are really committed to this journey because it's a vulnerable, right? It takes a commitment, right? That allegiance and that vigilance to self-love. And when we're in such a sacred space together, the trust has to happen with the group as well, right? So I'm just asking all those who are interested, to just ask your heart. um, I am going to be offering one scholarship. So if finances are you know pushing you or whatever, like let that not be the obstacle. Like if you feel the call, send me an email and I'm going to be giving away one scholarship. Anna said when do the live meetings happen? Tuesdays 6:30 p.m. Central. So each week you'll have access to the module in Kajabi. So you'll have the week to go through that. It'll drip out each week. And then every Tuesday we'll meet. So you can self-pace the content. However, if you want to do it over a 6-month period of time, you can do that. Um, However, it's going to support you the best. But in our Zooms, we'll be covering, some of the content in the modules, doing lots of energy work, doing, and really what will happen in the Zooms will really be like intuitively guided based on, who's showing up and what the needs are. Like today, obviously, like our group had a lot of heart stuff. So, I'm just going to be asking what needs the most attention. And the Zooms will be interactive where you guys can have that, ask questions and receive individualized support, like in addition to your one-on-one session. So that launches April 4th, 2022, goes for 7 weeks. And if you feel the call, it's going to be a deep journey. Like I said, that requires vulnerability and a willingness to change and a willingness to, commit to yourself, commit to being more loving. And again, to reiterate, I think not everyone was here, but I'm on this journey with you. Like I have some tools, and I have a teacher, thank God. But I'm doing this as well, right? Like we're in this together. And I love incorporating the light language because it gets me out of my head. It gets you guys out of your head. And then we can go deeper. Lisa, I'm curious. My light language, that one part was really, really different tonight. And I was kind of feeling some Kuan Yin energy. Lisa does light language. Oh, what happens? And I know you're muted. What happens when you hear light language a lot is you get activated to do light language yourself. So like Lisa's been with me in my academy last year and she now channels light language. So go ahead, Lisa.
I did pick up that it was very different. It was kind of like a Kuan Yin, but it was very, very different, and it made me actually feel different. It was really cool because typically your light language is kind of the same beautiful energy, and it was just like a different one came in and just felt like they had to say that part. It was beautiful.
Yeah, and then it switched out again. Yeah. Yeah. That happens sometimes, like depending on who, because when I direct the light language to the group, it's like customized to the group. And so you never know. You never know who's gonna show up.
And sometimes they sing.
And what?
Sometimes they make you sing.
Yes. Yes. You guys will hear me tone and sing and all that fun stuff. So okay, so that is my communication about the academy. And what questions do we have? And then we'll sit down. We'll write out a self practice before we close tonight. Questions, comments, anything you guys want to share about the meditation? You can put it in the chat. You can unmute yourself.
Jen,
Yes, ma'am.
when you asked Kylie to talk about the light language, I remembered that as you were speaking light language in the bringing the fire in, I saw the image of a gal striking her hands, of a woman as you were talking, striking her hands really strongly. Yeah, like lighting a fire with her hands almost together, clapping.
Was she you?
I don't know. She was a little bit older woman.
Yeah.
Like me, I don't know who it was.
Yeah.
Probably some version of me. I don't know.
Aspect.
Or guides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It was neat. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe there's a opportunity to have a deeper connection with her. Very cool. Anna, are you want me to put the link in for the website? I can't remember what other link I said.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, let me do that. So here's the okay, so here's the course information, and you guys can read through that. And then let me see if I can also put in the guidebook with the audio series. If you guys want to sign up for that, I'm going to put that in there as well. And any other questions?
I just wanted to mention, I truly felt like the pillars, I know there's no coincidences, but I felt like that whole 7 pillars came on my email at just the right time. And so I was fully awake for those. And um, I really got a lot out of those pillars. Um, so I just wanted to say thank you for um, putting that together and for offering it. And I really did feel a lot of shifts for myself, which is why I wanted to get on the call. Um, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Um, I feel like I'm going to probably expand the guidebook too, and because I feel like there's a call to go deeper, which will come through in the course, of course, um, but I'm so glad you had a good experience. And yeah, you can download those and keep those and listen. And like I said, I'll send the recording out of tonight's light language as well, so you guys can
I had never
all.
had an experience with the light language before. That was the first time I had ever heard anything, but I'm a singer, so it was kind of a very cool experience because I think I could feel the frequencies more with the toning, like it was coming through. I could receive it because I sing, and so I felt like it was going on a deeper level.
Yeah.
But I've also noticed like I just want to sleep this week, like, you know, or like after I just wanted to sleep. I'm thinking, why am I so tired? But I guess that's like the body's just trying to regenerate or do whatever it's doing.
Right. Like just like a food detox, you get tired for those first couple of days, and we're receiving so much, like the Schumann resonance spiking, solar flares, like energy coming in from the sun. And so as we're clearing as we're clearing energy, we're you know uh, things are recalibrating, right? So our body's having to make adjustments to hold a higher frequency, right? That's the purging, that's the releasing. So literally these changes are taking place at the DNA level, and it can sometimes require some extra sleep. Sometimes it wires us up. Like yesterday, I mean, I took a walk and that's about all I could manage, and then today I have like energy up the wazoo, right? So it's really, the other part of this experience and self-love is really honoring where we're at, not resisting, not pushing against or swimming upstream, right? We're part of the part of really truly embodying self-love is being an allowance with that divine flow. And that's not just like, oh, I'm going to receive the beautiful divine flow and I'll feel better today. There's surrender, right? There's humility. There's the ego wants to do things because it wants to keep safe. The ego wants to control. It wants to, have its way. So there's an energy of surrender, and we're not so good at it because we've been operating in a different way for so long. So a big part of this self-love journey, and what we was talking about, the vulnerability and the trust, is that we're willing to look at some of these parts of us, and it can be a radical change, right? To be in alignment with our divine self, like it can completely shift our whole reality. And so I don't know where I went on that tangent. But just to be in the flow and the receiving. And so you're talking about being tired, like honoring the body when it needs rest, right? Honoring the body. Like there was a time a couple of weeks ago, my body's like, I'm fasting, just so you know. And I wasn't hungry for 2 days. And that's not normal. Not not for this girl. And and it was interesting because I was like, oh, and then I realized what I was coming up on something, and I realized my body knew before I did why I needed to fast. Um, so I listened. So yeah, just a lot of flow, flexibility, willing to listen, having that heightened sense of awareness so we can pay attention and, honor ourselves. That's part of the self-love. MP, I've been feeling a lot of nervous, almost spastic energy, wondering if that's related to ascension or something related to this work. Yeah, it could be both. Let me see if I can feel in for you. And so when I just kind of tune in, I'm really feeling like your root chakra, like I just zoom right into your root chakra. This is for MP. I think there's a lot of clearing happening there, which is wanting to kind of throw you out of your body. It feels like there's a process happening there. So super important, go out in nature, get your feet on the earth, do some really deep relaxing breathing. This is for everybody because this is important. um I also get like, be really discerning about what you are putting in your body, meaning, if we eat like popcorn and crackers, vata, like we're even raw foods, like when we're kind of disconnected, we want to have like warm, nurturing, comforting, root, cooked vegetables, things that are going to be more grounding. So for MP, I'm feeling like they're like taking baths, getting grounded, doing some breathing, doing some dancing, getting some physical movement, because I think there's a lot of stuff shifting in your root chakra right now, and it kind of feels like it's pulling you out. And asking about it, and we got ascension related things happening, right? So it's like it's the perfect storm, because if we have our own internal things that are happening, and then we've got all this energy coming in on top of it, and then you're not in your body, right? Because what happens also is our nervous system, our vagus nerve and our nervous system is being significantly impacted by the changes that are happening. So if you think about our bodies, this is the analogy that came in a little while ago, is like we're trying to run super high technology, like think about the internet and everything that we have technology now, in like an old Victorian home, that had like gas lighting. And so our bodies are having to upgrade, and we're rewiring and restructuring, like so the physical body is like a house, and we got to revamp it to hold these higher frequencies. Well, while that transition is happening, right, while our bodies are adjusting, like, you know, it might feel uncomfortable. We might get spastic. So if you think about the nervous system as the electrical system, and we're running these high frequencies on a vessel that can't happen, it gets fried, right? So our nervous systems can get fried. So that's why, like, all the things that support you in feeling grounded, nurtured, supported, nutritionally, physically, extra time maybe in baths and grounding. I'm trying to think if there's anything else specific. I really feel like a lot of somatic focused movement for you, MP, allowing your body to move in just fluidity. So if you're feeling this anxiousness, connect and commune with the consciousness of your body. And this is for everybody. If we ask to connect and commune with the consciousness of our body, put on some music that feels really like, and let your body move how it needs to move. Maybe your body wants to start off jumping up and down. Maybe it needs to shake, and then maybe it needs to soothe. Like, let your body guide you. I think some somatic embodiment practices and with some music might assist you. Okay. And then thank you for asking that question, because I feel like that was for everybody. Grounding mats help. Thank you, Anna. She sent that to me directly. Yes, grounding mats. Okay, good. Got one more person come in. Okay, so and I'll leave some more time to ask questions, but we're at the hour and a half. And so what I want you guys to do, I've given you some ideas, even what we just talked about right now. I want you to first think about and write down, what have you done in the past that has cultivated that feeling of self-love? What helps you to feel light expansive, where you lose time, where you're like, I could just do that all day. Okay. So write down, and if it's more than one thing, yay, you, right? Write that down. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. And this one also, MP, this will support you too, because this is for everybody. Now, I want you to place your hands on your body and ask your body, and you can, beautiful divine body, connecting into the intelligence of my body. What do you desire to do that would be more loving? Body, what do you want that would be more loving? My body wants to dance. That's what my body wants to do. It's like, you said you were going to dance every morning and you haven't been. Sorry, body. So, and you can write down these questions. So like maybe if you're not getting the answer right now, you can, ask that question again so you have it. Body, what do you desire to do? How do you desire to move? Would be another way to phrase that question to your body. Body, how do you desire to play? And what else? So this is, I'm going to kind of keep this one open. So like for me, when I wrote down in the beginning of the year, do I have it right here? I guess I don't. I wrote down the daily practices that I know support me. Meditation, number 1. Movement, body, number 2. I can't remember what my number 3 was. So what else do you know that is going to support you in self-love practices? In your guidebook, I do have a list of suggestions, so you can pull that up. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. And here's the key, is to commit to yourself to do these every day. And the other key is to not overcommit, right? So we want to make it to where it's digestible and you can commit to do these daily, where it doesn't become a burden, where you're not over promising something that, that isn't going to work in the long term, right? We want to build long term. So I wrote down in the guidebook: meditation, movement or exercise, saying I love you, journaling, and then doing a daily energy clearing. What I would also add to that as a potential daily practice is to set aside just 5-10 minutes a day and commune with your body and ask your body, what do you, body, what needs love and attention right now? Because your body's the container of all these traumas that we've talked about, right? Your body is the container of all these energies, and your body has a beautiful divine consciousness that we can connect with and commune with. Problem is, we've been overriding our body for so long. So we have to reestablish our trust in that relationship. Your body's just waiting for you to ask. So would you be willing to just talk to your body for 5 minutes every day and ask some questions about body, what needs attention? Body, what needs love? Body, what needs healing? And then the response that you give your body, because the body can respond with sensation. You might have a visual awareness, right? What you're intuitively knowing. You might have just a knowing. Once you do, just hold love and compassion for that part of yourself. You don't have to go in there with a jackhammer, or you don't have to, I mean, you might have more awarenesses, you might have more insights. But really, like, if you can go in there and just ask your body, what does it need? And then just be yourself, like hold kindness and compassion and love for that part of you. That's simple. It's really that simple. Lisa says, tell yourself, I love you daily. Yes. The other fun thing to do, what I've been doing, and my teacher gave me this idea, is sing yourself a love song every day. So it was so funny. She gave us this homework to sing ourselves, to sing a love song to ourselves. And I tend to wake up in the morning, my intuition talks to me in songs. So the first morning after I decided to, okay, what's my song? Like, just asking the universe, asking my higher self, like, what's my love song? It was Tina Turner's What's Love Got to Do with It? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? I was like, okay, like, awareness, right? The communication was saying, like, oh, okay, I've protected my heart. And so it took me about 3 days for the song to shift to where I was like, okay, whatever that was, I was able to, the communication came in, I communed with my body, I was able to clear whatever that energy created that song and then move into a different song. This came from Missy Hook. Some of you know Missy. She was in my academy for 2 years in a row, actually. But she opened up her own energy healing practice. So I go to her, which is like so fun. Like, my students, like, being healers now. I love it. Anyway, she's super intuitive. And at the end of a session that I had with her, she said, for me to record a message to myself, like verbally. And you could do this with writing too, but there's definitely power in the voice, to Angela's point. And so you could, grab your phone and, I haven't done this yet, but I would say, imagine you're connecting into your higher self. So you're coming from that place of pure love. And what would you say to yourself as your higher self? So those are some fun things for you guys to play with. And again, like take your list of self-love practices, maybe write down more than that would be, chewable on a daily basis, and then pick, at least like 3 that are a priority. Okay. All right. So in closing, we did do quite a bit of energy work. I will send you the replay so you can listen again. I think we started about 30 minutes in. If you know what I'll do? I'll look to see when we actually started the energy piece and put the timestamp in there for you guys. I'll send you the website, and I put the links in for the list. And if you guys want to book a call with me, that's on the website. And then now you have your to-go list to begin to integrate and implement. And I would love if you guys join me. I feel very aligned that this is going to be a really powerful experience. And let me know what I can do to support you if there needs to be adjustments, financially. We can extend payments out or something like that. So I don't want, if you guys are feeling the call to join Self-Love Alchemy, like, let's talk. Oh, thanks, ladies. Yes, good. Any questions, comments before we close for the evening? I really appreciate you guys staying on and being here. It was a beautiful group. Mary, do you have a question? Oh, you were just waving.
No, no, it's very late in the UK, so I'm going to bed. I'm working tomorrow. So thank you, Jen.
It is so
Great.
late. What time
It is
is it?
so late, I know.
Oh my goodness. And it
Yeah,
looks
I
it
know.
looks like you're outside.
No, no, it's very dark.
The way the tree and the light behind you, I thought you were sitting outside. So yes,
No.
go to sleep.
Okay, good night.
Good night. Good night.
everyone.
Thank you for
Okay,
staying up so late.
Okay, bye.
Bye. All right, everyone. Well, feel free to reach out to me if you have questions, or you can book the consultation call. And thank you so much. I'm sending you all lots of love. Thanks for being here and receiving and choosing more love for yourselves.
Thank you, Jen. Bye.
Good night.